On a gray London morning in 2014, three men sat hunched over laptops in a cramped office above a bakery. The smell of fresh croissants drifted upstairs, mingling with the burnt scent of old wiring and too many computers plugged into one socket. The city outside pulsed with its usual rhythm, buses growling down the street, pigeons pecking at breadcrumbs, office workers clutching their coffees. But inside, Demis Hassabis, Mustafa Suleiman, and Shane Legg weren't paying attention to London. They were chasing something that lived beyond coffee, beyond croissants, beyond the gray skyline. They were chasing the idea that machines might one day think. For centuries, people had fantasized about it, from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein to the shiny androids of Hollywood. But most had dismissed it as either science fiction or philosophy. The three men in that bakery attic didn't. They believed in it so fiercely they poured their lives into building algorithms that could teach themselves. This belief would change their lives and the world. Their company, DeepMind, started as a gamble. That intelligence wasn't just something biological, but something that could be engineered. They built systems that could play video games better than humans, not because someone hand-coded instructions, but because the machine learned. To most investors, this sounded cute but useless, until Google came knocking. In 2014, the tech giant bought DeepMind for hundreds of millions of dollars. Overnight, three scrappy researchers became wealthy pioneers. Their cramped office above a bakery had been traded for Google's billion-dollar resources. The sale wasn't just about money. It marked a turning point. The dream of artificial intelligence wasn't a curiosity anymore. It was a gold rush. And like all gold rushes, fortunes were waiting for those bold enough to dig. If DeepMind was the spark, Sam Altman was the gasoline. Altman was Silicon Valley born and bred, a child who could strip down a computer before he could drive, a young man who spoke about the future with unnerving confidence. At Y Combinator, the famed startup accelerator, he'd already been shaping the dreams of other entrepreneurs. But when he took the reins at OpenAI, his ambitions leapt from helping small startups to reshaping the trajectory of human civilization. Altman's pitch was seductive. AI shouldn't belong only to corporations. It should serve humanity. Yet, in practice, OpenAI was both idealist and capitalist, riding the balance between open research and corporate necessity. Then came ChatGPT. The release was like tossing a match into dry grass. Suddenly, teenagers were writing essays, CEOs were drafting memos, and programmers were generating code with the help of a machine that felt eerily human. Awe, fear, and excitement rippled across the globe. Investors poured in billions. OpenAI's valuation soared, and so did Altman's reputation. He wasn't just a CEO anymore. He was a prophet of a new digital age. And yet, even Altman stood on someone else's shoulders. Years before AI models captured headlines, one man was quietly forging the steel to make it possible: Jensen Huang, founder of NVIDIA. With his trademark black leather jacket and a showman's flair, Huang had been building graphics chips since the 1990s, long before anyone saw their potential for AI. To most, GPUs were for gamers. To Huang, they were the engines of parallel computation. And when the AI revolution demanded staggering amounts of processing power, it was NVIDIA's GPUs that lit up the world's data centers. Huang wasn't just a supplier. He became the blacksmith of the AI era, selling shovels in a gold rush. The market rewarded him handsomely, and his fortune ballooned, placing him among the richest men alive. If DeepMind were the philosophers and Altman the showman, Huang was the craftsman. His tools turned dreams into reality. Not everyone wanted AI to be the property of billion-dollar corporations. Some envisioned it as a tool for everyone. One of the loudest rebels was Ahmad Mostake, founder of Stability AI. Mostake believed creativity shouldn't belong to a handful of tech giants. So he championed Stable Diffusion, an open-source image generator that let anyone transform text into pictures. Suddenly, artists, students, and hobbyists had access to technology that once seemed impossible. Chaos followed. Some hailed it as the liberation of imagination. Others cried theft, fearing for the livelihoods of human artists. But whether celebrated or condemned, Stability AI had forced the conversation and made Mostake a wealthy symbol of rebellion. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, another rebellion brewed. Clement DeLange, Julian Shomond, and Thomas Wolfe transformed a quirky chatbot project into Hugging Face, a global hub for open-source AI. Their platform became the GitHub of AI, a place where developers could share and collaborate. Hugging Face's insistence on openness turned it into a billion-dollar company, and its founders into stars of the AI underground. The rebels weren't just challenging corporations, they were proving that power could be decentralized. While rebels fought for openness, others quietly built empires from the unglamorous corners of AI. Take Daniel Dines, a Romanian engineer who once struggled to pay rent. He founded UiPath, a company that taught machines to do boring office work, copy data, send emails, process invoices. Hardly the stuff of science fiction, yet enormously valuable. UiPath went public, and Dines became Eastern Europe's first software billionaire. Then there was Ali Ghodsi, an Iranian-born academic, who co-founded Databricks. While it lacked flashy consumer apps, Databricks became the invisible backbone of enterprise AI, merging big data with machine learning. Investors valued it in the tens of billions, and Ghodsi's name became synonymous with success in the infrastructure of intelligence. They weren't building robots or chatbots. They were building the plumbing of the AI age, and plumbing, as it turned out, was pure gold. AI didn't stop at code and data. It began reshaping art itself. In New York, Cristobal Valenzuela and his team launched Runway, a platform that gave filmmakers tools to conjure impossible visuals with a few clicks. Suddenly, indie directors could create effects that once required Hollywood budgets. Runway's software even slipped into Oscar-winning productions, hiding in plain sight on the silver screen. Across the Atlantic, Victor Raparbelli and his team founded Synthesia, giving birth to AI avatars that could speak in any language. Corporations used them for training, marketing, and news, erasing the limits of global communication. Investors loved the reach, and Synthesia's valuation soared into the billions. And then there was Character.ai, the creation of Noam Shazir and Daniel DeFreitas. Their platform let people chat with AI personalities, from Shakespeare to superheroes, from therapists to entirely new digital friends. Teenagers spent sleepless nights talking to their favorite AI companions, while venture capitalists poured in money. A company built on imaginary friends was suddenly minting very real fortunes. Behind every glamorous app stood an army of builders. Jeremy Atchin and Tom DeGodoy created DataRobot, making machine learning easier for businesses. Sri Satish Ambati founded H2O.ai, handing powerful algorithms to companies without massive data science teams. And the race for hardware never stopped. While NVIDIA led, challengers like Grok and Cerebras emerged, pushing chips to handle ever larger AI models. Each new advance was another fortune waiting to be claimed. They were the invisible titans, the ones who didn't appear in glossy magazines, but whose work powered everything else. By the mid-2020s, the AI boom had minted a new class of wealth. These weren't oil barons or steel tycoons. They weren't even the hoodie-wearing dot-com founders of the 1990s. They were researchers, tinkerers, and coders who once spent nights debugging in dorm rooms and eating ramen for dinner. They turned code into gold. And yet, as with all alchemy, there were questions. Should creativity belong to machines? Should conversations be outsourced to chatbots? Should the keys of knowledge be held by algorithms trained on the sum of human writing? No one had answers. But one thing was undeniable. The pioneers of this age, from Hassabis to Altman, from Mostek to DeLange, from Dines to Valenzuela, had reshaped humanity's relationship with technology. They were the new alchemists, forging riches from silicon and imagination. And their story had only just begun.